Good morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to a new trading week. As we can see, we had losses on US indexes to end last week. So far this week we're seeing the ASX trading lower at this stage. We're also seeing oil trading lower, and the US dollar index has also started the week lower. Risk currencies at this stage are trading higher, and we're just looking at the ASX at this point. We can see last week's pretty decent low that was put in, and we got right back down to test some of those March lows. This morning we are seeing a bit of a test here. It's still a pretty decent way away from the moving averages, so we will see if there is a return to the averages, but at this stage, yeah, things do look a bit negative, and it will come down to influences this week. If we do see stocks start to see a bit more demand filter back in, there is the issue though of a US government shutdown, so that can cause volatility during those times, and we will see if that does go through. Now, the dollar index at this stage, we did see another firm close on Friday. We did see a bit of a test of some previous resistance, but at the moment it continues to hold pretty firm, so we can see a few tests there. We haven't seen price really be able to get above that resistance level, so this week we will continue to watch if that has sort of really formed as a barrier, or will we see the dollar come back up and try and break that level once again. So there's a few tests, as we can see here, around 4 tests, and price does continue to stay below that level, but the trend we can see on the short term, the medium and the long term is still very much entrenched in a strong uptrend. So we will continue to look for momentum to continue upwards, and we'll see if we can get a new test and break. Now, some of the risk currencies this morning, we are seeing the Aussie higher. We are seeing higher moves as well against the Japanese yen, and just looking at the Aussie here, we can see a second day of gains, but price does still remain very range bound, and the euro, we can see a bit of support forming here at 1.0631, and that does line up with a previous low that was set back in May. So if the dollar does fail once again at resistance, could we see a bit of a rally start to form on those risk majors to the dollar? But we will really need to see further losses on the dollar just to get that buying momentum up and going. The pound at this stage was definitely the worst of the three. That was due to the rate hold last week. Now, with last Friday's update, we did talk about a rate cut, so that was incorrect. There was a rate hold, and it was below expectations. So the market expected the rate rise, but they did hold rates. That was after that weaker CPI. So the pound definitely has put in some more deeper lows out of the three at the moment. So it is the weakest of the three, and we'll see if the dollar does finds more momentum to the upside, and what will that mean for the pound, and will we see even a new move back down to try and test some of these areas seen around that 1.2178 area or lower. And the dollar CAD with oil trading a bit lower to start the new trading week. We can see a bit of a fight back early in Monday's session, so we can see a bit of a move higher here, but at the moment it still remains in a bit of a downtrend here. You could call that still a pullback in this main trend. There's a lot of demand under the level of 1.3440, but would need to see that level hold, and would like to see buying still continue today, but there is plenty of resistance all the way up to this level here at 1.3514. We'll have a look at oil in one moment as well. Now, some of the other indexes, so the Hong Kong 50 for instance is bouncing, so we can see a fair bit of support and demand off 17,559, but we do see this resistance here area here as a bit of an issue, and that's at 18.3, and the German 30 also has a bit of a level to watch, and it is down around the 15,487 area. We can see last week that big plunging move that went back down to test it. Friday's session really wasn't much of a confidence builder on the buy side, so we do have a lot of downward pressure, and we do have sellers still in control of the market, and but we will need to see them break this support level here to really get this downtrend going again. So So that's the level we'll be watching if you are a DAX trader on the daily, is this level here, and that runs back to around into July this year, and it's been all the way also back to another point of support here back in April, and that's sort of key support at this stage. So we are keeping an eye on that level just to see if DAX buyers can hold firm there, or if we will see another break if momentum does continue to push lower overall with stock indices. Now, the yen was weaker on Friday after the Bank of Japan, and that's sort of the trend is continuing this morning. We can see the Aussie testing this resistance here at 95.65, and would like to see if it can break this high that was set in the previous week at 96.07. Now, the euro is still pretty much range bound. There's not too much going on there. The key resistance there, the beat, is at 158.41, and the pound, which had a pretty average week last week, there's a little bit of support that's starting to form here at 181.29, but we will need to get some momentum back to sort of beat that plunging bar that we did see, and there's resistance waiting for it up at 183.30. The dollar yen is 0.08% higher this morning, and just having a look here, it's continuing to drive in this uptrend. We did talk about this pattern last week. To break out of it, we had one test back into it, but at the moment buyers are in control and they are pushing back up higher. I think the real statement here, if we have a very strong high close and push back above that 148.50 area, that would start to signal to us that, you know, this trend is ready to keep going, and then would start to look up to 150.27 as the next real test. It is a bit far away at this stage, but if we did see some good buying momentum this week with a higher dollar, that would be the area would look to see if buyers could get back up there. There is a bit of short-term resistance as well waiting for buyers, and that's at that 148.92. Now, gold at this stage in the morning is slightly lower. There's not too much going up on in gold at the moment. We have resistance here at 1936.46, a little bit of support at 1918.24, and a bit more key resistance sitting up at 1943.60. Now, silver was definitely the stronger of the two on Friday. We did see a bit of a pullback on that market. Now, we can see there's a bit of supply sitting up all the way up to 23.77, and I think the market will need to find a bit more momentum on the short term to get back up to test that area, but it does still sit in this new leg up, which is trying to form a new uptrend, but it does still sit in the overall range with, you know, major support sitting at 22.33 and key resistance, you know, really way up in that 25 area. So there's a bit more work to do there, but on the short term, definitely we'll continue to see if silver can have another crack at last week's high, or if we do see the dollar push back up higher again, will this influence come back in, and will we see sellers retest back down to that 23 flat area. Now, cryptocurrencies have started the week pretty much sharply lower. We're seeing a fair bit of red on the boards at the moment. DOT, for instance, is down 3.34%. We can see Bitcoin close to 1.5% lower. Ethereum's a little bit over 1% lower, and we can see AVA, which is down 6% lower at this stage. So it continues to push lower after a pretty flat weekend of trade, and it is setting new monthly lows at this stage. Now, just focusing in on Bitcoin, we can see after the weekend's a pretty flat session, we can see a pretty sharp move lower this morning, and there's, you know, decent resistance sitting on the short term. That's at 26,617, and we are seeing 27,236. Now, support wise, there is a little bit of demand coming at this stage in the morning from around the 26,000 area. Would like to see buyers try and hold above 26. If we get back down this week to into the 25s, that could be a bit of a worry. It's starting to put some real pressure on that fight back trend that we did see, you know, just recently. So just finishing off with oil. We can see oil lower this morning. We have a lower high in play. We did have a bit of a 2-day pushback last week. Resistance definitely sits now at 92.28. There's supply, ready supply going all the way up to 93, and at the moment the market does look like it's struggling to sort of find some of that buyer momentum that it has seen previously, and now we will continue to see if a lower high does continue. If we do see a push back down and test and break of 90, that could signal that the market's ready to sort of push it a deeper pullback. But if we do see things hold up and we see a new move back up and test of 92.25 with a bit of a break there, that could signal to us that this uptrend, it will look to try and keep going again, and we'll keep an eye on this low here, and it could come in as a higher low. So this is part one of our two-part videos we do on a Monday. So we'll have the economic outlook focus coming up after this video, but these are just some of the levels and some of the areas to watch in some of the markets as we just start the new trading week in today's Asian session. So that's it for today's video. We hope you have a great week, and check out our economic outlook video that will be coming out later today, and we'll also have a market focus video coming out following that as well. So all the best for the trading. Thank you very much for tuning in and for your time, and we wish you all the best and have a great week. Thanks again, and bye for now.